We're on, gentlemen, thank you.
All right, thank you. Guys, we're going to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Flags right over here to our right, your left. Pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, guys. This is a call to order for the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. We're meeting downstairs, and it is November 16th at 7 o'clock for the, again, for the Zoning Board of Appeals. Just for everybody's benefit, so that we don't have to keep repeating it, the next meeting, if you're invited to the follow-up meeting, will be December 21st. So just make sure you bring your Christmas presents for the board members, especially if you want to get approved.
A bottle of what?
Jameson, please. A bottle of water will be fine, thank you. We do have one member missing this evening, Greg Logan, so Mr. Souza, we're going to change a little bit of the voting. We're going to replace him with somebody else. Really doesn't matter. Nothing happened at the last meeting because it was continued. And that is the first thing that we're going to hear. So, gentlemen, I need a motion from somebody to please replace Greg Logan with another member.
Yeah, I'm going to make a motion that Bob Adams replace Greg Logan on case number 10-16.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, hearing no discussion, passes. So Bob Adams is now going to be the voting member on your case, sir.
Okay.
Along with Jason Quinn and Zach Karen.
Right.
So who is going to present your case to the board this evening?
This gentleman is from the solar company,
Okay, so.
and I can answer any other questions.
Absolutely. How the procedure is going to go, you're going to come up here, introduce yourself, present your case. If the board members have any questions, they'll throw them at you or Mr. Souza. Then we'll open it up to the public to see if they have any concerns or questions for you, and we'll wrap it up in a nice, neat package.
Sure thing.
So whenever you're ready, come on up, please. Yes, he's going to read the notice because it is a continuation.
So this is the notice of public hearing as it appeared in the Taunton Daily Gazette. Notice is hereby given that the Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday. That's the old one, Dad.
Okay.
This one was October, so it should be November 16th, so 16 at 7 p.m. at the Dayton Town Hall, lower level, 797 Somerset Ave, Dayton, Massachusetts, on the application of Kenneth Souza for a property located at 1909 Maple Street, shown on Assessor's Map, Map 7, Lot number 66, for a special permit to allow a ground-mounted solar array, and then it lists the laws that it will be adhering to, and it was signed by Rosalind, the Secretary and Clerk of the Zoning Board.
So whenever you're ready.
Sure. Mr. Chairman, thank you for having me here today. My name is Christopher Sheldon. I'm the owner of Southern Light Solar out of New Bedford, Massachusetts. The project that we're speaking about today is a relatively straightforward ground-mounted solar project. It's 20 panels. The total DC output would be 6,400 watts. It produces in the neighborhood of about $100 to $150 worth of electricity a month. The array would be mounted on two 8-inch steel pipes with 8-foot concrete footings. Behind Mr. Souza's property, Ken Souza, at 1909 Maple Street, as was read earlier. The inverters will be mounted directly on the panels themselves, so the AC power will be coming off. Of course, it'll adhere to all NEC electrical codes. As you can see from the site survey that was done since the last meeting, the array will be located about 20 feet from the western border of the property, more than 50 feet from the back border of the property, almost 200 feet from the front border of the property, adhering to all the different zoning bylaws for standoffs relative to the property borders. Like I said, it's a pretty straightforward ground mount. We've done several of these in the area.
Has this plan been approved by the building inspector?
Building inspector's reviewed it. He has all the necessary
You
materials.
said about 20 feet. Is it going to be 20 feet?
No, it's 20 feet. It's already been
Bob, before you
staked out.
jump in with your questions, are you complete?
Yeah, I'm complete.
Okay. I'm sorry, Bob, I didn't hear what you were asking, that's why. And what did you say, Bob?
I asked him if the plan had been approved by the building inspector, he said it did, because when his presentation, he said about 20 feet from the side yard. I want to make sure that it is that.
No, it is that, it's been surveyed and staked out at
Okay.
20 feet.
That's all.
Well, you need 15,
Yep.
because it's considered an accessory structure. You seem to have, Mr. Souza, a lot of accessory structures on this property.
Yes,
Um,
carport, tool shed. The square block that you see ahead of where it says garage, that square block, that's just fence. I used to raise wolves there.
Okay, so there's not a garage there?
No,
Okay.
just the one garage. Yeah, the garage is
Okay,
there.
yeah.
It's really a carport, it's not a garage.
Sure. In a portable garage enclosure,
Yep. My 1965 Mustang convertible
okay.
that I restored.
And then this garden, is that a garden shed or just a garden?
Oh, that's just a little vegetable garden. They even put that on there.
Okay. And your house is where it says number 1909, the deck?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, 1909 is the house, and then the deck
And it's
goes on two sides of it.
164 feet from the front of the... When, Mr. Souza, we spoke with you last, that day I met with you here.
Yes.
I had asked you to submit your plans to the building inspector to give yourself a head start,
I did that.
and you did.
Yes,
Did you
sir, I
apply
did.
for the
I
permit?
Made out the permit, I made out all the paperwork for the permit, and the paperwork for the electrical part of the permit too.
Okay.
I
So-
wanted nothing to delay this.
Nothing to delay it, I know, huh? So you made a comment about the value of the electricity.
Yep,
I've never heard it put that way.
okay.
Usually somebody tells us the output, nobody tells us the dollar value. How'd you come about with that dollar value?
I deal with a lot of customers, and a lot of customers don't know what a kilowatt hour is.
So you just-
So I took the output and assigned it a rate of about 22 to 25 cents per kilowatt hour and did the math myself.
And that's a Dayton rate with,
It may not be a Dayton rate, I have an Eversource rate off the
because
top
we're
of my head.
higher than that.
Okay, well, then it could be a little bit more than that.
Okay, right?
I mean, I can break out a calculator, I was
Low
just
limit
talking on the fly.
150 would be good, happy for me. If I get that much out of it, I would be a happy camper. Because a lot of months, I won't use that much electricity,
If
but
it
a lot of
isn't
months I
profitable,
do.
then it is not.
Okay, we're gonna go down the line here, starting with Zach. Do you have any questions, Zach, that you have? this
No,
down?
no.
Either Mr.
It's heavily wooded all around the property too.
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I-
Nobody can even see it
I
from the
drove by,
road.
I couldn't see it either.
Oh, okay.
Jason.
Same here, no, I drove past it too as well. Operating of the solar panels to tilt them manually, correct?
Yes, manual.
All right. And then anchoring everything into the ground with a concrete foundation?
Yeah, and
Concrete
it is an adjustable array, so it's
Okay.
mounted on two poles and he'll be able to adjust it throughout the year based on the angle of the sun.
floor? Okay. That's all I have at this
Mr.
point.
Pacheco?
How high is it gonna go up on you?
The lower edge is about 3 feet off the ground, and it's
Yeah, but
4 panels
doesn't it-
high, so in the back edge.
Doesn't go up, does it go down or not?
No, it pivots. It pivots around the top of the pole. The pole's about 8 feet off the ground, and so the front of the array is about 3 feet, the back of the array
Is
is
the 8 feet?
12,
Up
13
12,
feet.
okay.
So that'd be the
off
max
back.
height, is the 12?
Is the 12, 13, and you can make it really flat, so it's more like, 6 to 10 feet.
Well, it's gotta be more than 13, right? If it's 13 feet, then you gotta add the base.
I didn't do the math. I just know from looking at it, it seems to be about 12 or 13 feet when we do these. It's probably in one of the plans if it's an important number to you.
I tell you why that is important, because the biggest thing for us is what is seen by the neighbors in the road.
Sure.
So if you're talking 13 feet, plus it sits on an 8-foot high, you're over 20
No,
feet.
well, the 12 or 13 feet is the
Including
back
the
edge
8
of the array.
feet?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, so the lower end is about 3 feet off the ground, and then it's at a 45-degree angle roughly, 3.5 feet.
okay, yeah, no
Yeah,
problem.
I can do the math, but-
Uh,
You're not in any wetlands?
No,
No. And what do you raise in front of the garage? What did
I
you
used
say?
to raise wolves,
That's what I thought you said.
yeah. But the state
Killing
clamped down on
chickens.
it.
Chickens.
Mr. Adams, do you have any questions or concerns at this time?
Well, just a follow-up to your question about if it's, this is 13 by 27, I did the math on it, it's 351 square feet, which I thought should have been even, but now if it's 13 feet and it's 3 feet off the ground, the maximum height would only be 16 feet, am I right?
Yeah,
If it was
and,
full, if it was fully, you said it's gonna stay at a 45-degree angle, but even if it was put up straight, if it's 3 feet and 13 feet high, it would only be 16 feet.
Yeah, the
that's
angle will
correct.
change
Okay.
about
yeah, 3.5,
twice a year when you,
7,
when the
14.
sun is in the lower arc, you bring it up a little bit, and then when it's, of course,
Yeah, and if it were straight up and down, it would actually be lower than 3 feet, because it would be
Okay.
pivoting in. So yeah, even if it were straight up and down, the highest point would be 15
I wanted
feet,
enough
so-
room to be able to put a lawnmower underneath it, you know?
And he'll have that.
This is on piers, not on a concrete,
No,
slab.
it's two
12
concrete,
footer,
Yeah, they're footings that,
Right.
I'll have to look at the specs, but usually they're about 8 feet deep.
they're, yeah, I think it's 8 foot. It's-
Does the board have any more questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay, at this point, we're gonna open it up to the public. Any abutters have any questions or concerns? If you do, just give us your name so that we can tell them who to send the hate mail to.
I know all the butters.
No questions or concerns? Anything else from the board?
No?
Hearing no more questions or concern, I'm going to make a motion that we close public input.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Gentlemen, what's your pleasure? Zach, Bob,
I make a
And
motion to
Jason.
approve under the
Jason.
conditions of the building inspector. Building
I second that.
inspectors.
well, back up, Bob. Make a motion to approve under the conditions of the building inspector. What do you mean?
Well, it's-
He has to abide by the building codes, is that what you
Right.
mean? Okay. I mean, I don't wanna put something in the description that I'm not.
okay.
Okay, the vote has to be unanimous, so that means all three members who are voting on this have to vote, and you have to state, gentlemen, why you wanna vote. So Bob has a motion out on the floor that says he's approving this, obviously based on, it's all in compliance with, building standards.
I did a drive-by, Peter, I didn't see anything visible from the street in any way.
My house is barely visible, and that's only in the winter time. In the summer, you can't see nothing.
Zach?
Just that with no butter opinion and everything falls under the guidelines, I see no reason to deny.
Okay. And Bob, your reason for approval was the same as
Yes.
Zach's?
It is allowed with approval, right?
With a special permit, yep. And, Jason, same thing?
Correct, I see no reason to deny.
Okay, sir, this is what's gonna happen. The vote has been taken and it's been approved. Now, from here, it goes to our attorney, Marguerite Mitchell, who works for Gay and Gay. She is going to write up the legal description, and the board will sign it when it is ready. As I spoke to you once before, I am more than willing to call her and ask her to do it as quickly as she can. I don't know how quick that's going to be, given the fact that you're smack in the middle of the holidays.
Right.
And obviously, you're a month behind, so that December 1st week was not going to happen. When that is ready, the vote has been taken, I will request that the three gentlemen who voted come in and sign it. When they sign it, when the last person signs it, Roz will give you a call. It will be signed by the clerk, town clerk, the next day, and then there's a 20-day appeal period. During that 20-day appeal period, you can meet with the building inspector, you can roll the dice and start building if he lets you, it is strictly up to you. But at any time during that 20-day, anybody, not just from the town, anybody has the right to appeal that.
Right.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your
I don't
time.
expect any problems with that.
So, good luck.
Thank you.
Talked to all my butters, so I notified them before they got the letters.
We skipping
No, I was just wondering,
Yes.
Thank you.
You're all through with us?
Thanks,
Get out of your hair.
Keep this, or?
Yeah, hey, is this your jacket?
Oh, yeah.
Takes about 5
every day?
Not used to it this
I
time of
have
year.
one in the file.
You wear them one day, you don't wear
I
them
told my
again.
daughter he's back up. Yeah, there
I
you
wouldn't
go.
get loud, wouldn't
I
I?
remember those days.
Under all business, we're gonna skip B and C for now, so that the, A and B don't happen. Gentlemen, we're gonna skip B and C under old business, so that the, audience doesn't have to wait, to listen to those, mundane, comments. Under new business, we are going to jump right to case number 1216. It's 2290 Horton Street. And this is for a special permit for another ground-mounted solar array. Zach, can you read the, as it is printed in the paper, and then Bob will sign three voting members,
Yep.
please.
Notice is hereby given that the Dayton Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, November 16th, 2016 at 7 p.m. at the Dayton Town Hall. Gives the address on the application of Jeffrey Medeiros, president of INO Electrical Services, on behalf of Timothy Correa, owner of a property located at 2290 Horton Street, shown on Assessor's Map 7, lot number 21, for a special permit to allow ground-mounted solar array, and then it lists the laws they will adhere to.
Bob, you got three members, please?
Yeah, Ken Pacheco, Zach, and, Mr. Quinn,
And none of you have
I'm sorry.
a conflict of interest with this, correct?
Correct.
Mr. Souza, oh, that's not Mr. Souza.
I myself
Medeiros.
will be, I have a son.
Oh, okay. Ms. Medeiros, are you presenting this case?
Yes.
Okay, can you come on up, sir, whenever you're ready?
Zach,
And, Mr. Medeiros, it's going to be the same format that you just witnessed. You're gonna get to present your case. When you're done, the board members will ask, questions of you if they have any. When, they're done with their questions, we'll open it up to the public. So, whenever you're ready, fire away.
Okay, I'm Jeff Medeiros, president of INO Electrical Service, here for Tim Correa. And you have a drawing. What we're proposing is a 24 module ground-mounted solar array in his backyard, located 121 feet from his west boundary and 306 feet from his north boundary. And that would be a standard table of 40 feet by 10 feet by 13 feet high, mounted on ground screws. That's all I have for you.
Wow.
You said 121 feet from the
121 feet from his westbound
West.
and 306 feet from his northbound.
What's the distance for the east? This is a corner?
Well, this is Horton Street. This is east over here.
Yeah, he owns all that land to the west. We didn't call out that.
So, you mean he owns all that land to the east?
I'm sorry, to the east, correct.
So this is his driveway, this is his house.
Do you have any setback from the,
Existing
from the
field,
road?
proposed array, existing sewer pipe.
He's not even located on the road. He has a private driveway down, so, which is roughly, what is that, 100 feet from the road maybe?
Yeah, it's, the house
The house from the
road
main road, yeah, from
is,
Horton.
600 feet maybe.
Okay, good enough.
Yeah.
The line that you're showing here, is that the 100-foot buffer line?
That,
Or is that the wetland line?
Okay, gotcha.
that, it looks, let me, you mind if I,
This one right here.
that right there is a wetland, existing delineal for his wetlands.
Okay, so you gotta be 100 feet from there.
This is the 100
That's what I
feet.
asked you.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
this is the 100 feet.
This is,
The buffer?
this is his wetland line, this is
Yeah.
the 100 feet line.
Correct.
Okay. In the sewer line here, it's an existing sewer pipe that goes out to the septic system. How close is this?
It's gonna be approximately about 3 feet from our screw, from our foundation, which is gonna actually allow, I think we figured it out to be about, 5 feet from the edge of the panel? Is it 5 feet? I think we're calling out 5 feet, just in case he ever has to access that pipe. He wants to be able to get a backhoe in there to do that. So we are giving him distance, adequate distance for a piece of equipment.
3 feet, is that enough?
Well, we can shift it.
When you said something about this being on ground screws, are you talking no different than the the cement,
Concrete
Piers,
columns?
concrete piers.
Yeah, it's the same idea you would use for a deck, except in this case, they would be 24-inch round, and this is an actual ground screw, which is 6 feet in length and 2.5 inches in diameter. So it's there's no soils interrupted at all. This gets literally screwed into the ground. We did another one on Hart Street like this last year that the board approved with the same mounting method, which we refer to them as ground screws.
right, no, I don't have an issue with that. It's gonna be considered an accessory structure. And I think you're gonna have to be a little bit further than 3 feet from that sewer line. And you have the room to move it.
Which would shift to the west.
It would shift to the west, or you could go south.
Plan west,
And what is the required measurement?
I'm gonna check with the building inspector. Because the one that we did before,
He did.
on,
He signed off on it.
Old Wellington,
Yeah.
they had a cement slab, and it was considered an accessory structure, and I think he wanted,
It was close to the septic system.
too close to the box itself.
Jim has signed off on that plan. The
Has
plan
he?
that Kenny has is signed off by the
And this is
building.
roughly what we're looking at. These would be the ground screws. And in this case, this is a 40 module, so I don't have a 26 module, but it's the same exact thing. This is the amount. Very streamlined. very-
Pretty much like what's around town already.
Yeah, it's run of the mill. No holes, nothing
Yeah.
crazy. And this is a side profile of the rack in here. Same idea.
And Jim signed up on this.
Can I take a picture of that real quick?
So like I said, this is this was blank. It's 40 feet by 10. 10 is
So it's
this way.
basically a footer that runs along the ground, and then you anchor in the ground.
Yeah, these pins go right into the ground. Here's a side view
Okay.
of the screw in the ground, and then the plate that mounts the stanchions uprights.
And you
mount
cross
like
brace,
that.
you have your cross bracing, is that part of the
Yeah.
structure?
And this height roughly is like 13 feet off of finished grade. So we have the 30 inches here, and this is, at 32 degrees, it's about 10 feet, bird's eye down on it, 'cause it's a
Gotcha.
32-degree angle.
And those are stationary then,
Yeah, they don't move, this
move,
doesn't
so-
move, there's no, this is fixed,
And-
100% fixed.
So this size, so this X out,
Yeah, that's.
so from here on out is basically the size of
That's the
what you
40
have
feet,
on.
yeah, that's what we would call out as the, this would be the 40 feet measurement here,
Okay.
right?
Jim signed off, that means.
And this is.
Yeah, being
this
that close
is
to the
10
septic,
feet.
sewer line.
And then you have an estimated kilowatts you're gonna get out of the system?
Yeah, estimated about 9,000 kilowatt hours a year. And his current usage is 8,043.
And who's Rob Correa? Is that
Tim Korea.
That's my
Oh,
neighbor.
that's his,
That's my neighbor.
that's his neighbor.
just a coincidence?
My brother.
Oh, brother. Okay. Okay.
Hope he's not here to,
I was gonna say.
Yeah, no objection.
He's next year, we're gonna do his, we're
No.
gonna talk him into it. One at a time,
Yeah.
you know?
The board have any more questions?
I have no questions.
Yes.
I
Oh,
have
no more?
No.
Bob?
No, I'm all set.
I know you guys were talking to him.
I have no more, I'm all set.
Anybody about us here that wanna be
I
heard?
have a question.
Yes, sir.
Is that one driveway that goes to two different houses?
That can't be.
No,
That's the,
it's two
I got a
driveways.
picture of it.
The
Can I see your
property-
picture of it?
The property line goes down the middle of the drive.
The property line goes down the middle of the driveway,
Middle of the drive,
so it's
yeah.
still one driveway in the middle of the property line, one
Over
driveway
the,
for
over
two
the
houses.
years, we use the same spot.
How far is that solar how far is that solar gonna be from the east? The property on the east?
Property on the east,
Hundreds
Is
and
it a
hundreds
shared
of
driveway
feet.
I
somewhere?
mean, if we were to scale that,
Over 300, I'd say closer to 5, if I'm just rough scaling it from
yeah,
here to here.
roughly, even if we called it 400 feet,
Yeah.
just to be
So that
safe,
means
straight.
I could.
He's talking about from here to here,
Right,
Driveway.
on the east side, correct, yeah, this side right here.
So
Not without
he
approval.
must be this far from here, right?
What's
I
that?
know, but I'm
Yeah.
saying, if they've got one driveway for two houses, Why can't somebody else do it?
They don't have that cert. They chose to make an agreement with each other to allow each other to use one. But
So if you have two lots,
there is room provided there in your
Correct.
deed.
if you're in Dayton and you have two lots, and between those two lots, the people who own those two lots approve one driveway, you can do that?
No, that isn't what they did, sir.
No, we
What did
went
they do?
through,
They have
actually,
two
quite a bit of
driveways.
trouble.
They
No, there's one driveway.
That's because they did that after it was built, but if it was done, I don't know when this was approved, how long you've been there.
Tell us
We've been
exactly
there.
what you have.
Yeah,
for the
so,
driveway, so we can all
so
understand.
we tried to have one access driveway, and we actually, the original plan we drew up, we tried to get an easement for one of us to have,
Didn't
and they
go.
wouldn't let us do it. We had to move the property line to the center of
Each
what
one
is
has
now,
his own-
what is
what
two
is it, how many feet?
driveways,
Those are Rujo's property,
which it's gravel
Oh, yeah,
because of the
okay.
wetlands, we couldn't pave, so, it was a, I think, 24-foot driveway.
Each one has a
But
allowed,
we both drive down the middle, so that at this point now, you know, the sides have kind of grown in, and it looks like one driveway, but the room is there for two. It was originally two.
We actually approved this. This was the Rujo's property.
no, Ruger's property was on
This was,
Wellington Street. This is not.
Wellington, that's right.
This
this
is
was
Wellington.
Jack England.
Yeah.
England was the original.
How long have you been there, sir?
Been there 17 years.
Okay, it was before I was on. I never worked on that. I know that they wouldn't have been approved
I
without.
was here, but I don't
That's
know.
correct, they would not allow it.
Okay,
So, do you have any further questions?
Yeah, how far was that from the property to the east?
400 feet?
Roughly 400 feet plus. Would you like to see it?
You can come up and look at one of the maps there.
sir, are you Mr. Wallace?
Yeah, I have the property for
Yes.
sale, I'm just worrying that somebody's gonna interfere and not wanna buy it because they're gonna be seeing, I have three lots there.
They will not see, that's
Okay,
heavily
so here's
treed.
Horton, right, and here's
Do
Tim's
you own the
house.
land?
Yeah,
And we're going
it's
to,
heavily treed wetlands. It's-
from his house roughly, yeah. So this is where he is, and this would be the west line, and there's your property line on the east. So if we scale this, we're,
Yeah.
400 some odd square feet. Which you can't see, you can't even see. You, I'm sure you know what
Sound very
it is.
similar to.
Well, if you get approval, it means whoever buys my property can get approval too.
If you
Soon
meet the
after.
requirements, you know.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Any other question? What was the question, sir?
I wanted to know how far it was.
No, but you said something about approval, if he can get
I
approval.
said if he gets approval and somebody wants to buy my property, there's a possibility
All
that
right,
he gets.
all right, we're not gonna,
approval.
I don't wanna go down that route. It's only what's in front of us. Any more questions, sir? Okay. Anybody else have any concerns? Okay. The three gentlemen voting, Ken Pacheco, Zach Karen, Mr. Quinn, what are your, what's your pleasure? What do you wanna do? Joyce, you can take it under advisement, go look at the property, or you can vote on it this evening. If there's gonna be a vote on this evening, it will be not until sometime in January that you'll get to start construction.
I suggest we close the public hearing.
Oh, well,
and
you
and
gotta take a
then
motion to close the public input anyway.
Everybody's, you have no other questions, nobody has any other questions before we close it? Public hearing? I'll make a motion that we close the public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, no discussions, approved.
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve, this petition.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ken, why do you approve it?
Well, this, really, it's a big piece of land, it's gonna be way in the back. I understand your concerns, but I think this is far enough away from your property, and I don't think that's really an issue. So, I'm in favor of it,
It's
I'm
pretty
in favor
rural.
of solar, so.
Yeah.
Zach?
I had the same, my only concern would have been the existing pipe, but seeing as the building inspector has already
Okay.
signed off, then I'm okay with it.
And Jason?
Agreed, and we're well outside the wetland areas, so no issues there as well.
Okay. So what's gonna happen is December 21st, the decision for this permit should be ready by our attorney. It will be signed at the December 21st meeting, and then it'll be recorded with the clerk the next day, and you'll have a 20-day appeal period from the December 21st. I think we got enough time, right, with her, you got the extension? and,
Yep.
January
Everything's
19th.
signed.
19th. Is it 19th or the 21st?
January 19th.
Oh,
It's 21st December.
Okay, guys, you're all set. Thank
So
you.
will there be a site visit? Oh,
No.
we good.
No, you're good.
We've already voted on it.
The
Okay.
site visits come into more when they're in congested neighborhoods.
Okay.
When they're so rural that nobody sees them from the street, it's almost not necessary.
Great, thank you. Now, one more question on the, as far as the 21st goes,
Yeah.
that's when the decision gets recorded, is that, did I get that wrong, or it gets recorded
No,
after the 20
Not on the
days?
21st. We're gonna get the decision on the 21st. We'll sign off on it. The next day it should be given to the clerk and be registered.
20 days.
20 days
Next
starts.
day, 27.
Then,
So
the-
you have, you won't, your building will start around January 19th, between 18th and 19th,
Okay.
is when you can actually break ground.
When we can actually break ground. But
Correct.
there is, if we do write a letter to the building inspector, we can get into
Yes.
that 20-day grace period.
Right, but you're at risk. If somebody does appeal it and you lose, then you'll have to take out whatever you do there, so. But you
Okay.
have to talk to the building inspector first about that.
Okay,
And that's been a
So
lot.
you can't start before the decision is signed.
that's right, which we've got that here,
Right.
so that's it. Okay,
Good luck, guys.
that's good.
Thank you.
Mind if I hold up the thing?
No, go
Just
ahead,
for-
yeah, absolutely.
Just for future
Yep,
reference.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, well, thank you so much.
William Street, case number 1316, 1571 William Street. Who's here for that? Hi, guys. How you doing? Zach, can you read it, please?
Yep. Notice is hereby given that the Dayton Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, November 16th, 2016 at 7 p.m. Dayton Town Hall on the application of Robert Costa, president of RMC Construction, on behalf of Timothy Daniels, owner of a property located at 1571 William Street, shown on Assessor's Map 12, Lot 40, for a variance pursuant to Section and Articles 2700, 2720, Appendix B, to variance to allow the existing foundation for a proposed freestanding garage, which is 10.6 from the side yard setback.
Gentlemen, if you look at the packet I gave you, the third page is a letter from the building inspector. He could not be here tonight, but he did want that read into the record, that letter.
Before we do that, Bob, can you appoint the 3 members, please?
Bob Adams, Ken Pacheco, and Jason Quinn.
And none of you obviously have a concern?
No.
Okay, so then, Zach or Bob, can one of you read the letter?
Yep. It's dated November 16th, 2016 to the Zoning Board of Appeals regarding 1571 William Street. Honorable board members, please allow this letter to serve as an adequate correspondence in my absence this evening. The owners of 1571 William Street have a valid building permit to construct both an addition to the existing single-family home and a freestanding garage. Upon submittal of the foundation as built as required by my office, it was discovered that the freestanding garage was built within the 15 feet sideline setback requirement set by zoning board bylaws. After discovering the discrepancy, the contractor of record contacted me directly to apologize for the oversight and propose a repair that involves cutting the foundation. I was quick to respond that cutting the foundation was to be considered a quote-unquote last resort mediation method and would prefer the matter be brought to the Zoning Board of Appeals. I would further extend to the board that this contractor is of extremely high standard and I have shared in a harmonious relationship since permitting and inspecting his work in this town. It appears that this was truly a non-malicious mistake and would ask the board to consider zoning relief in lieu of modifying this new foundation. And it's signed James Aguirre, the building inspector.
Sir, whenever you're ready.
Rob Costa, president of RMC Construction. So we have a foundation that's in place. I submitted a plot plan to the building department, and the plot plan that we had received, the lot line that we have infringed on was incorrect, and we realized that after we had the as-built from my engineer. The original as-built was not from my civil engineer. The original building permit, we had shown about an 18-foot setback, so there was about a 7.5 feet discrepancy that we didn't realize until the foundation was in, and my engineers called me that afternoon once they had done a field measurement and realized that we were within the 15-foot setbacks. So I called Jim right away, let him know the issues that we had, and we talked about different resolutions. Right now, we have about 12 feet from the it's about 11.5 feet from the existing corner of the house to the corner of this new foundation. So we are 10.6 off the front corner to the lot line. The new structure, it's just an unfinished one-floor garage. The ridge height is going to be about 16 feet off the ground, and the house it's got a garage underneath, so you kind of from William Street, it is down in hill a little bit, so it's not going to be over the ridge line or the roof line of the existing house or anything like that.
Dave?
Yeah.
I have a question. How far away, is there any other abutters?
So there's
How close to the next nearest structure?
It's got to be 40 feet maybe.
Okay.
That's a guesstimate.
From the
but
property line or from
property.
the garage itself?
From the property line.
From the property
yeah.
line.
And the other thing too is the homeowners are here. There's a rock wall when they had bought the
No,
house.
let's back up.
Excuse me?
40 feet from the,
Property line to the other neighbor's house.
Is that a house or?
It's their house. It's a
Okay.
single
so to
family
the,
cave.
to the west of this.
Yeah.
Correct.
The reason why we have setbacks, two of the reasons. The main reason is so that everything isn't compact. It's a rural town and you try to keep things spread out. And then the other thing is, if you can imagine you're building this garage right in the property line, and you want to paint.
Yeah.
We don't want you going onto your neighbor's property line to service or maintain your side of the garage. So obviously 10 feet is enough to
Cut the grass.
accommodate that maintenance. It almost doesn't matter how the mistake was made. If Jim says it wasn't malicious, then I'm probably gonna accept for what he says. Now, the fact that you got 40 feet from the property line to your neighbor's house, that's a substantial amount of space, and you add this 10 feet, that's 50 feet, that's a bit of space. So this kind of solves the first reason for having the zoning law, which is it's not gonna look like it's house on top of house. So this additional foundational that you're putting in, that's a garage as well as the freestanding garage?
So the addition on the right, that's a family room. That's
There's no garage there?
No.
It's just what's on the back?
The existing garage is on the same side as the freestanding garage. That's a drive-in underneath.
Oh.
So it's a garage underneath. They have low headroom, so it's getting a truck in there is very difficult.
And where's the driveway coming in from William Street? Is it
It's roughly
in line with the garage, the new garage?
exactly.
So is that also within the 15 feet of the property line?
Yeah. So yes,
The driveway itself is as well.
correct. And that driveway is pre-existing. We're not looking to change anything with the driveway or anything like that. We're just looking for the variance with the foundation that's in place.
Does board members have any questions?
No.
And obviously you guys are the only abutters, so you have no concerns.
You're in favor of it, right?
Bob, Ken, and Jason, what would you like to do?
I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. I'd like to make a motion to approve this variance.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
before you do that, we have an extension sign, because
Yeah.
we'll never get it in time for,
January 19th.
Have you started,
So we have, the foundation is in place. And we have the permit for the project.
You still have to wait until the decision is written and signed by the members, and you get that 20-day waiting period.
I know Jim had, when I spoke to Jim about it, he was saying, you can, build on it, obviously it's at your own risk.
Right.
Are we still open to any discussion here?
I think we're talking about the mechanics of,
you can't,
what's going on.
start construction until the permit's been signed by the zoning board. It has nothing to do with the building permit. What he's referring to is the 20-day appeal period. Like we've said before, you run the risk of doing it. Just trying to figure out a way that you didn't have to wait that long, but I don't know how much we can push Marguerite, for 3 letters.
Especially this time of year.
well, that's what she gets paid for, so.
She does, but that's why we
Paid well.
have
Paid well.
extensions. We're gonna try to get it signed as early as we can, so that you can start constructing walls.
Yep.
But I can't promise you. But again, Roz will call you
Yeah.
the day we have it signed, and once it's signed, like I said, you can start as long as you already have an active building permit with Jim,
Yeah.
so it's not even that process.
Yep. Okay,
All right, good luck, guys.
very
We
good. So,
didn't vote on it, did we?
No, you didn't.
Oh, I thought you did.
No,
we
didn't.
you're
No,
done
you-
before that.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
you had,
I made a
you
motion
did have a
that we-
motion.
That's why I
It's a
got
good
asked
thing,
about the
you picked
discussion.
up on that,
Oh.
because you would've walked out, we wouldn't have voted on it.
Well, I have motion Ken to approve, Bob
we'll-
seconded.
we'll-
Second,
didn't
and
vote on
then
Just
we got
no-
to discussion, and Peter has some concerns.
So-
So, any more discussion on that?
I'd like to ask them one question about the abutters. There's no abutters here, but has anybody notified them as to what this was about or anything?
Yes, I actually went over on 3 different occasions.
Okay,
Um,
and they're
they-
not here.
They didn't, they were home, but they didn't come to the door. So I brought the baby the next time and seemed more harmless, and they
Oh.
didn't come. I tried one more time, and
Well, they were notified, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're new, they've only been there for like 3 or 4 months, so, and they're quiet.
That's all you asked for.
You did mention that there was a stone wall there too as well, right?
there is a stone, yeah, that was pre-existing too, so.
So it isn't like they don't know where the line is.
No, and that's the other thing, that was one of the,
All right.
So we did vote on it now, right?
No, we're gonna vote.
No, the 3 members. Bob Adams, you're in
I
favor?
made the motion, Ken
Seconded.
seconded it.
I'm in
Okay, so
favor.
Bob Adams, what's your reason for approval?
Well, based on the letter from the building inspector, it's not like we don't allow this. We've done it before in other cases. It's still clearly 10 feet is enough to move a vehicle in between both structures, existing structures of both properties. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't go through.
Ken?
Yeah, and it wasn't malicious, and the contractor agreed to cut the foundation, which I thought was pretty good. I wouldn't want him to go through that process. No abutters here opposing it.
Jason?
Agreed, and then plus you're approximately 40 feet from the house on the abutting property, so that's fine as well too. Makes it better.
Okay. And you're
All
all
in
set,
favor?
guys. Thank you.
All in favor?
I think, did we vote?
But yeah, I thought you did. You just gave the reasons.
Wait, I have a first and a second, but I
We
don't
have
have
a
an
motion.
all.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now get
Done.
on.
No
Thank you.
opposed, passes
It's the
unanimously.
full moon, guys. Pardon.
so the letter coming back, how long roughly did you say for that one, Russ?
I don't know. We'll put it out to Marguerite, the attorney. She'll get all the minutes of the meetings and everything.
Possibly.
You're looking at a month at least.
I'll let you know though soon.
But, if we can get it sooner, we'll try.
Okay, great,
Right.
thank you.
Good luck. All right, guys, we're gonna go back then to old business, which is the first Part is the rules and regulations governing the fees and fee schedule. Is this the third and final time we're going to announce those fees, Ross?
Yes, this will be the third.
Okay. Since we have to announce it 3 times, this is the third and final time, and then it takes effect. In the Dayton Zoning Board of Appeal fee schedule is, I'm not going to read all of the regulations, but the variance fee is $750 per application. A special permit is $750. A solar variance is $1,500. A solar special permit is $1,500. A administrative appeal of the decision of the building commissioner is $1,000. A comprehensive permit is $750, and a modification to the comprehensive permit is $750. Then attached is all of those regulations, which can be received from the clerk's office anytime that the town hall is open, and that she is available to hand out copies. We need, the regulations haven't changed. This fee schedule has been in effect, but we needed to read it for the third and final time.
Do we need to vote on it?
I believe we did, but yes, we will take a vote just in case I'm wrong. So, do I hear a motion on the floor to approve the zoning board's fee schedule and the regulations governing the fees?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And no discussion, then it's approved. That is the last time that will be read. And then the next thing that we're going to discuss, and this was, there's been some issues going on with Rosalind, our secretary, concerning the union, the Board of Health, which she splits her duties now between the Zoning Board of Appeals and the
Board of Health.
Board of Health. As some of you might be aware, the Zoning Board of Appeals, I believe, as of right now, is going to be moving to the old Grange Hall. Our office will be there, along with a few of the other boards. But apparently her position will be split. And as far as I know, or from what I've been told, the Board of Health will be a full-time position, and the Zoning Board of Appeals will be a part-time position. My concern is, right now, Roz is here 35 hours a week, and there is no distinguishable times between when she does one duty and when she does the other duty. Unlike when Rita Sullivan was here, the only responsibility Rita Sullivan had was to the Zoning Board of Appeals, and at 11 o'clock she went home. So if somebody came in at 1 o'clock to do any zoning work, they had to come back the next morning when she opened back up again. That doesn't happen today because Roz shares dual responsibility, which makes it very difficult to kind of classify who does she work for and at what hours. And I also want to add that all this time, all this time she's been putting in and billing the Zoning Board of Appeals for 20 hours and the Board of Health for 15. And it probably could be questioned whether she does more Board of Health work than zoning work. But the selectmen want some kind of clarification. In August or September, during the minutes, which everybody has in front of them, I made the proposal of requesting that when I was going to do the budget, that we request her position be made 35 hours per week. It was brought to my attention from one of the selectmen that we never requested that, which is out and out not true. If you look at the minutes, it was requested, it was voted on, as well as when I met with the selectmen in January, I presented them our budget. And the budget included the secretary's position going to be called the administrative assistant, it was going to be at 35 hours a week and at grade level 6. The only feedback I got from the Board of Selectmen that day was I doubled the uniform allowance when I shouldn't have. Assuming that her hours were doubling, I just assumed the uniform allowance doubled, but the only thing they said to me was, no, the only thing that they changed on our budget was it went to a maximum of 400 a year, not the 500.
300.
It was 250. I doubled it to 5.
Or actually,
They said it,
I think it's 200.
2, and I doubled it to 4, and it was supposed to be 3. I don't know. So certainly, without any conversation from them, led me to believe that they agreed with the 35 hours, considering they had no input other than to say that by doubling her hours didn't mean her uniform allowance fee doubled. So they were aware of her, or of the zoning board, the board itself's request to have a full-time secretary. And I will go so far as to say this again, the work in town has increased, and the biggest drawback that we have is the fact that we have 5 40Bs, and none of them are being governed in any fashion. To me, it would be ideal if Roz was brought up to 35 hours a week, and that the additional 15 hours a week, you could probably take 5 more of those additional 15, put them in the office, and then the other 10 could be policing these 40Bs that we have ongoing. When I say policing, things aren't getting installed right, things aren't being done. Nobody has the time. Jim Aguirre, who is responsible, doesn't have the time to go out and do it. There was a drainage pond that was supposed to be cut twice a year and hadn't been cut in 7 years. But we're not paid to go out and do it. We're told to enforce it. We're supposed to enforce it, but we even asked for an increase, and they wouldn't even do that for us. So again, I don't think we have to do an official vote because we voted in September. That vote still stands unless somebody feels differently. But my opinion is the minutes should be sent back to the selectmen saying, what don't you understand about our request, or why do you think it wasn't requested? It's still there, it's still in need. And this year, it proves to me even more when the fact that somebody else in town found that detention pond not mowed and brought it to our attention. Not even us, the zoning board of appeals. In addition to that, there was parking in a fire zone that had been going on for a couple of years. And we're a voluntary board that,
Peter, do you want to send the same letter?
I'm sorry, Bob, send the same,
We had sent the letter before, do you want to send the same letter?
yeah. Nothing changes.
I would just like, when you get done, I'll let you finish.
There's gonna be major changes across the street with Stonegate. A new owner is coming forward. He him and I are in the process of discussing some of the formalities. There will be phase 2 completed, as well as even taking land that's not developed there and continuing with phase 3. So that means a whole new 40B opening up across the street, because when it comes to a new owner, it's like starting from ground zero. What was your concern about?
No, when you said about writing a letter, I'm a little bit concerned. In the last meeting that we had, we discussed that they had come back because they thought there was a union discrepancy about being able to, the ability to move it from a pay grade 4 to a pay grade 6. And I thought that it might be pointed out in the letter that the selectmen do have that authority without they can set the rate on anybody's job without the permission of the union. They don't need union permission.
Well, they need it if they're going down, but if they're going up,
Yeah,
you're
well,
probably,
it would be if
you're
that,
probably
very
right,
seldom
but
does that ever happen. That would take almost a court order to do that. But, and the union, like, it's an upgrade. They have the right to approve an upgrade. I thought
Yeah.
that should be brought to their attention, because it is it's a different board now that, than last January.
Right.
Brett's new to it, and like you said about this new guy coming in, that all of that 40B has got to be explained to him, because he falls under that conditions. He doesn't know what the conditions were laid out of, and that all has to be, a lot of work involved in this. I don't know that you can point that out to him, how you do it in the letter.
Well, anybody knows, all of us who have been on a 40B knows it's several hundred hours worth of additional work. But again, I go back to Dighton Woods is a prime example of blatant disregard for the comprehensive permit rules and regulations that we
I really
did
don't, you
years
don't have to sell me, we gotta sell them.
and yet the building inspector, when I speak with him, he's overworked, as he tells me, and he can't police it. So who does it? Or should we just give every 40B a blank check and say, well, because it doesn't matter that we negotiate with you for 3 years, nobody's gonna police it anyway, so we're not gonna take the time.
I think we should take another vote.
Okay.
Either reaffirm in our vote or,
Right.
because they apparently haven't recognized the last vote we took.
All right.
So maybe
And-
re-emphasize again our
Jason's
position.
here, he's a new member, and like Bob said, there is a new member in the selectmen. So, I'm going to make the motion then that the administrative, the clerk to the zoning board of appeals be, changed to administrative position, assistant, that the hours go from 20 hours per week to 35 hours a week, and, the board seriously look at increasing the grade 4 to a grade 6 with the outline that I had given them a year ago as the same reasons why that she or that position acts on behalf of the board. The fact that you're dealing with attorneys and phones ringing, with people requesting different things, there's a lot that goes on that I think most people are not aware of. So with that motion out there,
Second that motion.
any discussion?
I just wanna add what you said, having sat over there many times, the phone is ringing, we'll be in a conversation, I said, you gotta take that, she's just trying to deal with my situation, explaining something to me, and it's not just zoning board, it's Board of Health,
Yeah.
that, ordering bags at Hannaford's, make sure Hannaford's has enough, bag, that kind of stuff, I mean, really, it's all, we think can be all done in 10 minutes, it can't, I mean, it's just, any additional filing that needs to be filed that we don't have, it's kind of in the back burner now, because we don't need it right away, but it should be done.
The biggest thing with, believe it or not, zoning board is timing. And especially with 40Bs, you miss a deadline and you can lose hours and hours worth of work that you spent negotiating just because you didn't submit something on time. Look at the 3 applicants that we have today. Not that it's going to require a lot of work to get them, but they're residents here in town. We've collected $750 for them, and they'd like to get their projects done before winter sets in. And if you don't have an administrative assistant on top of making sure the minutes are submitted and submitted correctly, and the paperwork and all those deadlines are met, what people will come to expect from the board can be lost. Does anybody have the minutes that can be read? Just the part about Roz?
I have October, you had mentioned
No, no.
September.
I might have
No, no.
October's, hold on.
Last month when we discussed it?
Yes.
No, last year when we discussed,
Oh.
Last year, I got last. The agenda.
I did have it, it was highlighted, but I don't have it.
I got something here, Secretary Clegg zoning board of appeals, commissions. I'll let out all five.
My house,
we're cooking.
my wife decided.
Find the right page, sorry.
So I think we ought to include these minutes with the letter,
Yes.
and include, well, I don't know if we wanna wait till these minutes are completed, but,
You put the draft.
yeah. We have a prior letter, we attach it to these.
Okay, I think it's,
So this was,
September 16th, 2015.
adjustments to the secretary's wage pay grade. Peter explained that the suggested increase is not due to the increase in work volume. It is due to adding a whole new element to the job description, 40B developments. This element that we have added deserves a pay grade increase. He explained that he had met with the selectmen and tried to get the grade increase on the special town meeting warrant, but was told some misinformation that only an annual town meeting could approve a grade change, which we have come to find out that that is not true. But where is it that we voted, Roz? A motion was made by Ken Pacheco, seconded by Bob Adams, to increase the secretary's pay scale from grade 4 to grade 6. All were in favor.
I remember.
Motion by Ken Pacheco, second by Bob Adams, to increase the secretary's hours to 35 hours a week for the Board of Appeals. All in favor. At the time, all I did was just ask the board to think about it, and we went as so far as to approve it. So Roz, I think for whatever select person is telling you, or whatever person is telling you, the board is not acting on your behalf, or isn't compassionate enough, or isn't showing, we're not requesting it enough, we're not gonna hold anybody's hand. I mean, we've asked them, they didn't act, and it went to the union. So I don't know what other recourse other than we took a vote again. Our feeling is still the same. Mr. Quinn is now a new member. He agreed with the board. I don't know if somebody else wants to add anything, but
I think part of the problem, and this isn't defending the Board of Selectmen, but didn't Nancy start maybe in August of that year? Didn't we have another election? She started August or September,
I think that's when
Yeah.
that
and
left,
then
yep.
Brett came on in
Last spring.
April of last
So
year.
there's two new members.
So there's two new members. But I've had conversations, Peter's had conversations with the Board of Selectmen.
when I met with them in January, it was not Brett, it was,
Would have been Patrick, would
It would've
have
been
been.
Patrick.
And,
but Nancy was
Dean.
there, and Dean was there, and I remember it was Dean that brought up the laundry thing doubling. Because that's all they had to
Yeah.
say. And I remember coming downstairs and saying to Roz, they didn't question it at all. We were excited. I said, I think they're gonna back us on it.
Can I add something to this?
Yeah.
Like, Rosalind, now that you've got this information and these votes, if it doesn't find in that favor, you should file a grievance with your union and have it time dated at that time. Because it's obvious that we know that there's more increase in your workload and the amount of stuff that's come in, the paperwork and stuff. That gives you the little bit of leverage that's there. in my past experience with the union, this is how they do it in other unions. It was at a state level, where this is municipal, but it's pretty much the same rules govern all unions. And, because if, you know, you go on your own and it doesn't go through, then you have the reason to believe it. Let the union work out with.
One thing I'd like to add too is that if the selectmen are saying that, you know how you said the only thing they questioned was about the uniform, I think we should ask to see their minutes for their meeting and see, look, the question was asked, it wasn't answered.
That was an honest mistake.
Well, I had asked also to see the minutes from the Finance Committee, because I want to see where it was discussed with the Finance Committee members, amongst either themselves or with the selectmen, this topic. What was it discussed? And I'll tell you what my concern is. One day I met the chairman of the Finance Committee, Ed Schwartz, outside of Hannaford, and he said to me that to get something in writing to him as to why the zoning board deserved a pay increase. And of course that was before surgery and things kind of fell apart. And he said to me, because he had a friend in Raynham who serves on the zoning board, and they don't get paid anything. They get paid their mileage.
I think we worked for 8
So-
years that way too, Peter, didn't we?
So my concern is when I make a phone call or I receive a phone call from somebody like Vischer regarding a 40B, I have to keep track of that. That's minutes, that's public record. I talked to him about a 40B. So when Ed Schwartz says, I hold all these towns, and this town gets this town gets that, where's the phone records that you made those phone calls? Where is it and who did you talk to? And then where's the information that you wrote down and discussed it with your other boards? Because you just can't sit there and say, other towns get this.
You can say it, but you gotta be able to back it up.
You gotta back it up.
That's right. I agree.
And I question whether things like that are done. I think it's easier to say it than to actually.
I don't think other towns have been inundated with 40Bs like we have because of the, well, we have sewage in this town as well, and some of them have been based on that, but it's just, I don't know that too. It's hard to, each town is its own individual town. You can't face what we're going through with other towns.
I agree with you 100%. It's, you can't call up Raynham or Rehoboth and say this particular board gets X, Y, and Z, and they're the same size as you. There's different growth rates. There's different massive amounts of land available. There's different infrastructures available. So no two towns are identical. How many times have we sat here and said, no two variances are identical? Even though they're both 10 feet, they're not identical. So you're gonna have this gentleman here, whatever he whispered to his friend, I think it more was the common shared driveways than it was the solar system.
Yep.
But that's what he's gonna come back at.
Those two people actually decided they wanted to do that.
No, I understand, but I'm just relating to the fact that no two situations are the same. That's what his argument's gonna be. You let my neighbor have a common driveway.
They did it on their own. I don't think we allowed them to let him, because when that place is sold to somebody else, they're not gonna go the same way. So
Someone seconded it, but we didn't.
what they do after we approve it, it's up to them. We're not gonna, well, I guess you can police it.
Okay, so we're gonna make another vote then to approve Roz's or the clerical's hours and pay grade. So is there a motion to approve
I'll make a motion to approve.
30 to 35 hours?
Yes.
I mean, 20 to 35 hours?
From
Is
20
there
to
a second?
35.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous.
I'm not sure if you guys all wanna,
Yeah, I don't,
no?
well, it's up to you, but you had asked, but I didn't think Peter was gonna be here, so I presumed that would be something, that's just basically kind of what do you want a short line tape? I was waiting for a call back from a selectman to see exactly what they were looking for. May not be worded correctly, I've been out of school for 40 years.
You did fine.
Full-time is hyphenated. It's not one word.
Okay, all right. Spell check didn't come up with that. Jeez.
I don't think so.
You're right, it is hyphenated.
Well, I gotta tell you.
Now, is this the first time we've,
Even I didn't know that.
After he said it, I remember seeing it.
so this is the first letter we're giving to,
This is a draft
One of
of something,
many,
One of
this is a
many.
draft of something that we can.
but the first one based on being a full-time position because of the Board of Health.
Well,
being
I haven't
full-time
heard that it's gonna be a
resident.
part-time position.
Okay.
I haven't heard from anybody, so I don't know where that,
It's
and
scuttlebutt
even though,
within the,
even the letter that you got alleges that somebody told the union that it was gonna be a part-time position, and I don't know who would have done that, so I'm assuming they're both gonna be full-time
Well,
positions.
if there's 3 full-time positions, I don't know that the selectmen have been doing the Board of Health since before I can remember, and that's a long time. And, there should be room enough there that they should be able to do some of their own, there'll be time for them, is what I'm trying to say, 3 full-time positions. They're all full-time, am I right?
I don't know what you mean by full, no, they're like the selectmen, they're gonna get paid a salary, they're probably gonna get paid half the salary of the selectmen.
Well,
would
what
think,
I
'cause
was, I remember having a conversation with Ed Swartz, saying to Dean Cronin that come next year, if there was a committee for, then he was going to
Yes,
take away,
absolutely.
well, not that he has the right to take
Yeah.
away, but
Absolutely.
take away half
Don't
their
you think so?
pay, because if half their pay went for Board of Health, and they were no longer the Board of Health.
Two-position, they're being elected to the Board of Selectmen, but the Board of Selectmen also acts as the,
The Board of Health,
Board of Health.
Yeah.
but that's gonna change now. The Board of
Yeah.
Health's gonna be appointed by the selectmen.
But how many hours a week?
I think it's gonna be, well, it's gonna depend on the Board of Health member, but as we know, some people make the selectman's position a full-time position, which it isn't, and others do it as needed, so I suspect that's the way the Board of Health is gonna go.
Okay.
But their pay should probably be cut in half, I would think.
I would think so. If my duties were cut in half, I would get only half a pay if I was only working 20 hours a week.
Roz.
Is there a motion on the floor to approve the minutes?
Not yet, because there is a typo.
Okay.
It's minor.
those are the letters that went out.
Page 6, about 3/4 of the way down, it says that she works 20 hours for the ZBA. 15 hours. It should be 20 hours for zoning board.
Where are we?
Page 6,
20
3/4.
house,
20.
house.
She works 20 house for zoning board.
Feels like a house. Oh. 20 house, okay.
I can see why that didn't go with the spell check.
Yeah.
Because it is a word.
Yeah, October
20 hours,
19th.
yep.
Didn't I get
Is
a-
that the only?
Oh, yeah, okay.
As far as I saw.
I know I picked up crank before 4:30 this
Thank
morning.
you. I can change that quick so you guys can approve it.
That was just to give you something to come into in the morning.
Thank you, Bob. It's appreciated.
Well, of all the things that were there, that was minor, don't you think?
Have to justify that 40 hours, no.
Exactly. Exactly.
35.
35, sorry about that. No.
Just so you don't think I don't read these.
Then is everybody set with the minutes?
No, I'm good.
I'm all set.
Motion to approve?
I'll approve it. Oh, I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
Zach can approve it just on his own?
Yeah.
Just because he knows how to spell big
Approve
words.
and
Exactly.
second. Approve and second. Oh,
Exactly.
Minutes.
All in
I second
favor?
that, all in favor?
aye.
Okay, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're done. Thank you, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, have a great Thanksgiving.
Everybody have a good Thanksgiving.
Yes, everybody, eat plenty of turkey and